we can bridge that. But then you lose both of your tackles, and now your new tackles got to block JPP and Shaq Barrett. That's asking an awful lot. And that's the key to controlling the game. You have to control Mahomes, and still you got to hope he's off somewhat. That is going to be the big key. That's the question. And for me, I believe if Tampa were to win this game, Skip, I believe one of these defensive players is going to be the MVP. Because I don't believe Tampa can beat them in a shootout. Just everybody, okay, we go, you score, we score, you score, we score. I don't believe Tampa can win a game like that. Do I believe they can put a bunch of points on the board? I believe the winner is going to have 30-plus points. That's what I do believe. The winner will have 30-plus points. And it's going to be key because, Skip, I believe the thing that Tampa showed last time is that what kept them in the ball game, the Chiefs were about to go up 24-0, Skip. And what did Shaq Barrett do in the red zone? 2 or 3 times they shut him out in the red zone. They held him to field goals, and they got a strip sack. That kept the game close, gave Tom Brady to get close, and they could have got the ball back, had the chance to either win the game or tie the game with a field goal. So the offensive line is going to be play a huge role in determining how successful not only as Mahomes is, but how successful they're going to be moving in this game. So for me, that's it. That's it in a nutshell, Skip. Can they protect Patrick Mahomes from Shaq Barrett and JPP?
Can they?
Skip, I don't feel as nearly. I'm taking the Chiefs. There's no question. I'm taking the Chiefs, but I don't feel as nearly as comfortable. If they'd had Eric Fisher, I'm like, oh yeah, we got this by at least a touchdown. But now you without Fisher, now you got to take your without your starting right tackle, Mitchell Schwartz. You've been out with a guard the entire season. That's asking an awful lot. And what I tell people, take Donovan Smith and Tristan Wirth away from Tom Brady and one of those guards, and tell me what you think is going to happen.
Okay. As you well know, sometimes, even oftentimes, the NFL injury gods dictate the outcomes of Super Bowls. It's a war of attrition, and I don't know why guys get hurt. It's inexplicable sometimes, but they get hurt. And it's not fair, but it's a fact that the Chiefs have been decimated in their offensive line. I'm talking about decimated. If you look at last year's Super Bowl starting unit for them, they're down 3 starters who are really good because Eric Fisher was the first pick in the draft. And
made the last 2 Pro Bowls.
Mitchell Schwartz was a second-round pick. That's pretty good. And that Duvernay Tardif, the doctor, was a 6th-round pick, but he was a starter who was playing at a very high level. He was playing at a Pro Bowl level to me. And then they drafted that kid Kalichi Osemele, and he tore both of his knees up, tendons.
They traded. He was a free agent. He was at
I'm sorry. And he's a 2nd-round pick. Okay, so look at the firepower that, and then the other. I'm sorry, the rookie was the kid Lucas Niang. He opted out. He was their 3rd-round pick. Okay, look at all the picks who are gone. So they have only 2 starters, the left guard and the center left, and man, I start looking at the people that they're playing with. Mike Remmers, I think he's a tough guy. He has a good reputation. He started all 16 games in 2015 for Cam at right tackle in Carolina.
Vaughn was the MVP of that game.
I know, I got it. But he did start all the way through the Super Bowl at right tackle. I'm sure Vaughn took advantage of that in the Super Bowl.
And who else was on that team, Skip, that knows the moves that beat Remmers? Shaq Barrett.
Okay. Fair point. So he's moved from right tackle all the way to left tackle, and that can sometimes be a problem. And then you look at all the rest of them, even that Andrew Wiley, who's now pushed over to right tackle, he's undrafted out of Eastern Michigan, and he's been limited in practice. I told you the other day.
He got hurt.
Badly turned his ankle and missed. I think he came back for a brief period of time in the AFC Championship game, but they were in control by that point. But he's pretty iffy right now. Wow. So all of a sudden, I look at some of these guys. Nick Allegretti is starting at the other guard. He's a 7th-round pick. You went down to a lot of undrafted and 7th-rounders. So what happened to the Buccaneers? Well, in the first playoff game at Washington, they lost Alex Kappa, who was their starting guard. And I thought, here now they're in big trouble because they also they lost earlier this year Vita Vea. Who is a force in the middle of their defensive front. So I'm thinking, oh, God, you don't have a guard and you don't have your best pocket-pushing pass rusher in the middle. All of a sudden, a miracle happened. Vita Vea overcame a broken leg to come back and play 33 snaps at Green Bay. I don't know how he did it, but he did it.
Right.
And Shaq Barrett gave him credit for one of Shaq's sacks because he said he pushed the pocket so hard into Aaron that Aaron wanted to step up and got frozen, and he was a sitting duck then for Shaq to swoop in and take him down. Okay, Vita Vea is back full force, and they say he looks like he's 1,000% ready to go. So the 33 snaps might go up to 50 snaps in this game. Okay, so that's big advantage for the Bucs, the home team. And they put some kid named Aaron Stinney in for Kappa at left guard. He's undrafted out of James Madison, but I have not heard his name called for 2 games at New Orleans, at Green Bay, because I think he's been okay.
Except when he got that procedure penalty.
He got it. It was terrible. It was terrible. But I'm talking about, I haven't seen a breakdown where I say, oh, he got smoked on that play.
And Skip, the thing is that one guy is one thing, because I can slide the protection one way or another. I can always send the center toward to help the guard. But when you got the edge, Skip, you can only slide one way. Somebody's going to be one-on-one.
Ooh. Man, it's just hard to believe that up against this pass rush, which is a Giants-esque 2007 kind of four-man, we can get to you with 4 kind of pass rush. Again, I keep telling you, to me, Devin White is the best pass rusher. At Green Bay, they barely sent him. They said, because he can play coverage, because he can fly in coverage, too.
Yeah, you don't want to run, because you don't want Aaron Jones, you know, leaking out the backfield and getting loose like that.
That's what he was doing. That was his responsibility.
He's spying on him. The only difference between what I see, Skip, is that I don't think the interior, the tackles, is as good as pass rusher when they went to that NASCAR package. Because remember, they would kick Canty, and they would kick Tuck inside. So now you got Ossie, Stray,
I'm not saying it's better, but it's
but they got
in the ballpark. It is, because Sue and now Vita Vea can just force the issue inside. These are powerful men. These are sumo wrestlers.
The thing is, Skip, is that you have to beat the Bucs. You really need to stay ahead of the sticks. And I think a lot of times what happened with the Packers is that they let it get 2nd and 8, 2nd and 10, 3rd and 8. So now they got you in a situation where they know you got to throw the football. You got to stay in manageable, where you could either run it or throw it in order to get the first down. More times than not, you're not running for 8 yards and getting a first down. So you have to be careful. You need to stay ahead of the sticks. But this is a tall task to ask of a young quarterback.
It is.
It's like, okay, bro, you without your 3 of your starters, and 2 of those guys starters are tackles.
Okay.
Go get it done.
So the unprotected quarterback's best friend is the run game. What do the Bucs do best? What were they number one in?
They stopped the run.
They're number 1 in the league stopping the run. Well, I kept saying, well, that's partly because they were so bad on the back end that people would just throw and throw parties on them. But in this case, can Williams and Edwards-Helaire, can they even make a dent?
Le'Veon will be back.
Le'Veon will be back. That's a good point. Can they make a dent? Can they play enough keep away? Can they keep this front honest enough that it can't just come after Patrick Mahomes?
They're going to have to. And a lot of times, Skip, you know, that short passing game is an extension of the run. You know, in the West Coast system, Coach Walsh believed the 5-yard check down, the flat route to the running back was just as good as handing the ball off, getting 3 to 4 yards. So you might see that. You might see Le'Veon. You might see Edwards-Helaire. You might see Williams catch a few more passes. Because the thing is, they're not going to let Tyreek get behind them. So I don't believe.
Well, I hope not. After he got 203 in the first quarter.
I don't think they're gonna let Tyreek. But the thing is, Skip, is that you want to try to limit him in space. Also, you know, you worried about him getting behind you, but he catches the ball in space and faces you up. Well, you better hope the cavalry's coming, because you're not getting him down for where he catches the ball at.
I agree. So, who's the best game planner in pro football, especially if you give him 2 weeks? I'll give it to Ady Reid. He's really good at what he does. I think Tom Brady's really good if you give him 2 weeks to game plan. But let's flip it around and say, can Ady Reid sort of plug the leaks? Can he figure out a way? Well, to your point, you can plug that leak, but can you plug that one and that one and that one?
Exactly.
And do you have to account for, what if they do start sending Devin White or Levante? What if the backers start coming? Can this inexperienced group together, will they have enough cohesion to pick up blitzes, corner blitz? They'll throw a corner blitz. Will they be well-schooled enough to figure it out on the fly? I don't know. This will be Ady Reid's ultimate test of trying to protect a young quarterback who, by the way, just recently had a concussion. He's had a turf toe. You know, They're going to bring the heat.
This is going to be as healthy as he's been in a very long time with the week off in between.
Sure.
That's one of the reasons why the NFL went to that extra week.
I
because
agree.
there are a lot of guys that were playing in championship games that would be banged up that would get an opportunity. Had they had an extra week, Skip, they possibly could have played or at least been pretty close to healthy. Now, this is as healthy as Mahomes will have been since the start of the season with this week off.
Okay. So my final knock on wood for both teams, just for all our sake, is there's also one other, it's quote unquote injury threat out there, and it's called COVID-19. And I just hope they both can avoid any breakdowns.
Well, the thing is, Skip, is that they're going to get tested twice
a day,
morning and the afternoon. Families start coming in probably around Thursday, and I think that's a lot has to do to deter them. Look, I understand your family's here, but don't run the risk. The question is, Skip, Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes get COVID. What you think happening?
Let them play? Is that what you're saying?
You'll never know. We'll never know.
Unless they're sick.